What's up, everybody? It's Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here today with a review slash demo of a product. We're looking at this amplifier today, the Fender Champion 50XL. And at first I wanted to make this video super professional. I was going to dress up and read the manual and all that. But then I realized that when I walk into a music store to try out an amp, I don't read the manual before I play it. I just plug in and try things. And I definitely don't dress up. So I'm just going to kind of go at it with a casual sort of feel. And we're just going to act like we're playing through it for the first time, and I want to show you what I would do if I was trying out an amp. Okay, just on first glance, I could see there's an input here. Next to it is a foot switch, which is always handy, you know, no matter if you're practicing at home or on stage. Then we have a volume 1, I assume that's for a clean channel. Channel select, so you can get into this other channel. Here we have a whole bunch of interesting stuff happening. We have a gain, we have a separate volume, so we have a volume 2. We have a voice dial, which gives you a bunch of different amp sounds from what it looks like. Then we have a treble and a bass, effects level, and then we have the effects select next to that. This is kind of cool. We have a tap feature so that when we do certain effects like delay, you could tap your own speed that you want. And then we have an aux in and a phone, and they're the small inputs, so the 1/8" jack, which is nice because a lot of people have earbuds these days, so that's what you want to use. Okay, I'll pretend I just pulled this off the wall to use for the demo. It's my Jaguar guitar. It's actually my favorite guitar at the moment. Just coincidentally, it is a Fender guitar. So let's go with the clean channel first of all, and just see what we have here. So. First thing I notice is when I hit the big open E chord, there's like a full bodiness to the amp. I can always tell right away if it's going to have a really small sound or if it's going to feel a little bit more open. This has a pretty decent open quality just for the clean channel. Pretty warm sounding too. It's warm, but if you want a bite to it, it actually has a little bit of bite too. Okay, let's jump to the other channel now. And you could use the foot switch if you hook that up, but I didn't want to have it get in the way of the logo here, so I just sort of kept it out of the way. So I'm just going to use the button in the front. So now we are on the next channel here. The lights indicate that. We're going to keep the gain at 12 o'clock today, just so you get a real neutral version of the sound. And then we're going to keep the volume pretty low, but we're going to dial through all of these different amp settings. So here it just says clean, so it's going to be pretty much the same as what we had before, except now you have the option to add a little bit more gain to it to maybe drive it just a little bit more. Okay, let's go to the next amp. So that's kind of cool. The light turns green, but we're still in the clean amp setting, so it's just going to be a different version of the clean, I assume. It's a really nice sound. Once again, very full-bodied, but if you want it to bite through, it definitely does that. So if I turn the gain down, back to 12 o'clock. Let's go all the way up. I like extremes. I like how it breaks up too, like a lot of my tube amps that I have. This being a solid state amp, you're never sure if you're going to be able to get that kind of thing out of it, but this breaks up in a really cool way. The next one says clean plus compression. So the light turned orange, indicating that something happened. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Cool, so that's a clean sound with compression added to it, which if you guys haven't worked with compression a lot, it could be really helpful in the studio. It could tame down your clean playing a lot. So if you're playing and it's just biting too much, it'll tame it back a little bit. That's a very elementary way to look at it, but just listen to the sound here. So hopefully you could hear a difference. It was compressing whenever I hit the strings really hard, just to sort of like pull you back in. Good way to fit you into a mix if you're doing recording. Okay, we're on to the crunch channel. So the light should change. So it turned red. Let's hear what the crunch is like. Remember, we have the gain at 12 o'clock still. like about that is some amps, when you put it on the crunch channel, suddenly it just becomes super fuzzy and loses all of its character. So this one didn't do that, which I was surprised by. That's really cool. Some people would say that's not crunch sound because it's not distorted enough, but of course we're at 12 o'clock with the gain. So let's turn that up. I lied, I said I was going to leave it at 12 o'clock the whole time, but let's play with it just a little bit. So let's go all the way up with it one time. Sounds pretty good. I like the full gain for some lead stuff. Gives it a little more sustain, and it sounds pretty smooth. And it has that really big sound, kind of like if you hooked up a Bassman to like a 18-inch speaker. You kind of get that crazy growl when you play the big power chords. And let's go to the next setting of crunch. So it went to green. Let's see what happened. Let's go back to the previous crunch. And the secondary crunch. So two very different tones at your fingertips there. The next one says plus OD, I'm assuming overdrive. So we're gonna have some more saturation is what I'm assuming. Lots of great classic rock tones. I think I would do the plus overdrive setting when I kick into a lead sound just to get more of that saturation, some more sustain. So let's go to more of a front pickup sound and see what that sounds like with a little bit of single notes. I like that it holds out the notes. Whenever I need to sustain, it was there for me. Sounds like I need a setup on my guitar. Okay, we're on to the section I'm very excited about, the British section. It's got a lot of definition, as you can tell. It doesn't saturate itself out. So British 1 is pretty cool. Let's go to the next one, British 2. I just made up a new Zeppelin riff there. I really like the British in the second setting, the green setting. It's just got this throaty sort of overdriven sound, and it's very useful for a lot of different songs that I would play. Also, when you palm mute, it's got a pretty gritty sound to it. There's a lot of bottom feel. It's probably hard to tell through the recording, but I got the bass up pretty high. I like to do that with a lot of my amps, and I bring the treble back. Those things are universal on this amp. So whether you're on the first channel or the second channel, the treble and the bass will be affected. So once again, more things you can play with when you have more time. But upon first trying out, like if I walked into a music store, I'd pretty much leave it where it is and give it a go like this. Making up Deep Purple songs now. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm going to bring the treble back just a little bit. Now it says British with distortion. Let's see what this is all about. The orange setting. Really nice. It's got a little bit of a dark sound to it now. So that's pretty saturated even with gain at 12 o'clock. If you turn it all the way up, we're going to start getting crazy, I think. That's nice too about this amp that I'm realizing. A lot of solid state amps, you hit a note and you want that feedback to happen, you know, when you want to do it on purpose. Not the bad feedback, but the good feedback. And this amp will do that. Okay, let's go to the metal setting. Okay, so that's middle 1. Let's go to middle 2. That is extreme. I like it. Okay, metal plus octave should be interesting. So octave could be really useful also on leads. So for the effects portion of this video, what I want to try to do is use only clean sound. But I have broken promises before, but let's see what happens. I really want you just to get the truest sound of the effects. If there's an effect that really needs some sort of overdriven sound, maybe I'll switch over, but let's stick with clean for the most part, okay? We have the effect level, just like the gain knob. I'm going to try to leave it at 12 o'clock so you get a good blend of the sound and the effect. First dial is off, which is good. From there, we have reverb plus a little bit of chorus, it sounds like. So that's a good amount of reverb and chorus. Let's go to the next one, see what happens. Ooh, it's like a darker sound, and it's it sounds like a hallway now. Instead of a plate sound. Let's cheat and go all the way up. Whoa, that is trippy. So it sounds like it can go on forever if you wanted it to. Okay, let's move to the next one. Nice decay to that. So after you hit your final note, you hear the reverb decaying a little bit. This one has a nice tail to it, as they would say. Okay, let's go to the next section. This is chorus. So this is going to have a doubling effect. Great sound. See how it instantly makes your clean sound a lot more exciting? Versus, give it a little chorus sparkle. So I'm sure when they thought about it, they were like putting it together and saying, okay, chorus sounds great, but what if you wanted to add a little reverb to that? That's why the previous section is reverb plus chorus, because it always sounds good together. Okay, let's go to the next chorus sound, green. A little bit of a deeper chorus there, I like that. Now we are on to the flange. Hear that in the background, that weird kind of robotic sound starting to swirl, that's the flange happening. Okay, this is one of the effects I want to add overdrive to because you'll see. I need to get the whammy bar on this thing. Okay, we are on to the delay section, which I'm excited about. It's like a really quick slapback, which is great for like rockabilly type stuff. Does half the work for you because it doubles your sound. Awesome sound. I've been in a lot of country bands. I could have used that. Let's go to the next one. And you'll see the tap is freaking out. It's going crazy because it's a really fast slapback. But let's go to the next delay. I'm going to see. This is a slower delay. And of course, you could retap the tempo you want for your own delay, but let's see. Yeah, this is when stuff gets really interesting. Now you have a slower delay time, so it's going to be more like do, do, do versus do, 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 do. And it sounds like there's more feedback, which means there's going to be more repeats happening. Versus the previous one, which is just a really quick slapback. So now the green mode. This is fun. This is when you can start harmonizing with yourself. Let's mess with this tap feature now. So this is a really awesome thing to have. So let's say your song is a lot slower than that and you want the tap delays to follow that. You just push the button in the tempo that you want it to go. So let's go really slow. 3, 4, 1, 2, like that. See how it delays like that? Hours of fun. Now delay and reverb, which go really well together. Really trippy sound. It's a great way to play some really cool leads. Let's say if you wanted to add a little gain back to it, let's go back to here. Try a couple real slow melodic solos with delay and reverb. There's an auto wah, which I love because every time I'm playing funk music, I use my real wah pedal, but sometimes you just want the amp to do the work for you. Looks like we have some vibrato, which can also be tapped if you want to slow it down or speed it up. So that's going to take the sound and just wobble it for you. Let's try to change the warble here. That's what I call it. See how slow it is now? You want to speed it up? Just tap it fast. And it changes on the fly for you, which is nice. Okay, so we had the sound, the pitch going up and down. Now we're going to do tremolo. Trem is the final effect on the dial. And that's more of a, if you turn your volume up and down really fast, this is the effect. It's a great effect. A lot of confusion when it comes to tremolo versus vibrato. But this one's, like I said, it's like the volume goes in and out really fast, and you can also control that with the tap. Let's go for a slower tremolo. Sounds a little bit like a rotary type sound. Effect all the way up. That is trippy. So as far as final thoughts go, if I were in a music store, that's pretty much what I would play, as far as going through the different sounds and trying the effects. I probably wouldn't sit there for 5 hours and try every single tweak on it, but did enough to get the idea of it, and I really am impressed by this amp. I think it has a lot of flexibility for people who play all different styles. As far as using it for practicing and also live, sure, definitely in different situations, this could come in handy. I mostly use tube amps when I play live, but if it ever came to a situation where I needed a backup, I would definitely use this one. And the only reason I wouldn't use it as my primary amp is just because it is a solid state amp and it doesn't quite have as big of a sound as, let's say, a tube amp, but it's also not as expensive and hard to take care of. So there's a lot of advantages to having a solid state amp just, you know, at your disposal. And this is definitely one of the better ones I've ever played. So check it out, Champion 50XL from Fender. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll catch you guys next time. All right, bye.